Oh, this sucks. What's up, guys? Dodge Runner 95 here, and we are covering something that happened last night and had to go get taken care of today. So, for anyone that has these type of lug nuts on their trucks, cars, specifically Ram, Dodge, these things aren't worth a crap. So I would recommend like these sockets that you gotta have an extra long socket in order to get off, or a the spline style. Pack my lip full of chew here. All right. So last night, rotating my tires, doing my own thing as I normally do. Well, just so happened, as I am trying to tighten these up, socket decided to break. Now, as you can tell, that these are a little on the mangled side here due to how we had to get them off today. But if you're not too familiar with it, this little nub that broke off the socket sits right on in there. So when the socket's all good, this little nub will recess into here in a certain orientation, which actually it's pretty well lined up if it wasn't for the fact all this was mangled. So what do I do today? Go to the dealership, tell me it's going to be a week until they get them, and then they have to basically have me bring the vehicle in and they have to match it up. And it cost me $40 to $100 for them to take them off. If I was to wait the week, then replace the lug nuts with regular lugs. Well, or I had the option of the same day spend $300 to have these lugs cut off and regular lugs be put on. That's not counting the new lugs. So really, before all these got taken off, this is what they really look like. So this is actually the best way to really get a good idea how they look. So this collar is supposed to spin, of course, the security lugs. It's supposed to be difficult, if not impossible, to get off. These sockets, dealership only. Nowhere gets them. You can't even go to the parts store and get them. All because if you did, then average Joe out here that wants to be a crook and steal your tires off your car, you can go to the parts store, get the socket, pull up in your driveway or on your street, rip the tires off, leave your car on cinder blocks, and roll on. And the reason it would take a week is because these sockets come from a place up in Buffalo, New York, and it has to be a dealership that orders them. So, without further ado, let's get a little further into this. Alright, so delving into this. Get my seat over here, all set up. So, went over to my uncle's work, and they deal with semi-trailers and whatnot. How we managed to get these off is we took an air chisel and his air hammer, chiseled out a chunk, got it to where we could get the air chisel partially up underneath the collar. Yeah, actually, this would be the best way to show. So yeah, chiseled in, got up underneath the collar, busted the collar loose like this. Then took a large socket, if I even got one big enough. We'll just ballpark it. That's way too big. Maybe. Nope, that's too small. Either way, you gotta beat the socket on there with a hammer. We're not talking a small hammer, we're talking big sledge. like 8-10 pounder at least. Yeah, so like for instance, these ones, like a 15/16 socket, you beat it on there, get it going. Maybe something a little smaller. Yeah, more like a 7/8 actually. Yeah, take like a 7/8 socket, beat it on there, and take a 1/2 inch breaker bar or ratchet, long handle preferably, recommended, and you spin them off. Now these lugs, I'll tell you right now, come off of a 2014 Ram 1500. I plan on putting aftermarket lugs on here shortly, because if anyone knows anything about the factory lugs, or any factory lug for a lot of vehicles nowadays anymore, they have the you know, that little cap on the lug nut. So when that lug corrodes, that cap swells. When that cap swells, you can't get a socket or impact on there to take the lug nuts off. So you end up having to spend more later on down the line to have those lugs replaced. And most often, usually it'll happen at a dealership sometimes, because they like to be shady. So they'll replace them, or replace those lugs with the same style lug with that goofy cap on them. So, take you out here and I'll show you guys what I mean.